today. However, what I discuss is just as applicable to whether you trade stocks, Forex, or the futures markets. But I want to get underway with something that's very important to me and important to you as a trader, and that is the power of questions. Now, over 70% of those that invest in a day traders fast track program and that are members are already highly experienced members. That is, they've been trading for some time, perhaps I should say. Some have not been profitable up till now. So what is very important, that you don't allow your past to cloud or if you like, to hijack your future. So it's very important that as you watch my recordings and you hear me talk about this all the time, that you do it with an open mind. And the best way of putting it and stating this is this: there are empowering and disempowering questions. So you've got the victims, those that use disempowering self-talk, that says, or that will say to themselves, why does this always happen to me? All right, that's playing the victim. What we can do and what we must do is to reframe it. And as you watch this video, is number one, make sure you take notes, but also be asking yourself is, what can I learn from this? How can I use this? What's great about this? How can I use this to improve my trading? What will I do differently next time? How can I improve my entries with what Ray is showing me? How can I improve my exits? How could I better qualify the trade? Notice these are all empowering, intelligent, compelling questions. There is a massive difference, and I promise you that if you create a massive shift in the sort of questions that you ask as you watch my recordings, I promise you it'll have you'll accelerate your learning, because questions are the answer to success as a trader. Questions also concentrate our focus. That is, what we focus on we tend to get. So it's very important that we focus on ways of making it work rather on the past, on what hasn't worked in the past. Very important that we do that. Now, as we get into this, of course, I do need to legally put up our disclaimer. For those that are members, you see this on every one of my videos, so I won't go through it. Or if you're new to my recordings, please pause the recording and read the risk disclaimer. And very quickly, so for members, I'm just going to give a very quick ad. If you're a member of the public that is not a member, please visit my website or see the download link in the description below to request my free training manual, my free ebook on day trading, the truth about day trading, and even better still, become a member. For $197 you now will receive my top 15 day and swing trading strategies. There's over 300 videos now on my site, and there's a ton of resources. So I'm not going to say any more, but visit my website, request the information. Even more importantly, come and join us as a member of a day traders fast track program. End of ad. Let's now get into it. So this is an email I received from a member during the week. So here's what he said: 1,000 a day, 5,000 a week is a life changer. How do I achieve this? Well, traders, what we've got to look at is what is realistic. We need to build our confidence, and you hear me regularly talk about discipline. Discipline is like a muscle. The more often we exercise it, the stronger we get. Likewise, in achieving our daily profit targets, we want to celebrate as we achieve a certain milestone. We celebrate, and we can increase that as we go along with experience. So one way of doing this is to say, okay, I'll trade 10 contracts, achieve $100 a day net profit, and we're going to be talking more about how to do that in this session. That's 1,000 a day. As you increase your experience and your profitability, you might choose to be trading only 5 contracts, achieving 200 a day, which we're going to look at a chart in a moment on this, which is 1,000 a day. So there's a lot of different ways of, if I may say, skinning the cat. So what we've got to look at, though, is that a lot of traders are really lacking confidence in their early days. So target $100 a day. Stop going to sim and celebrate you winning, then go up to 120 a day, 140, 160, etc. Now we all have different personalities, so you've got to really look at what works for you. Now another way of looking at it is this: we're going to be looking at the various setups in a moment, but let's just say you start off with $100 a day. So consider trading two markets, and that means you only have to net $50 to $100 a day from each market. So in other words, you're going to be looking for the best of the best, or implementing or using only the best of the best trading strategies, the very highest probability strategies. And what that means is you're only then looking for 1 to 3 trades. We've got to be realistic. We know we're going to have losses, but by going for, say, the T2s or the 34Bs, which you know are very high probability, of course we can minimize the amount of trades that we need to undertake. Now what that is doing is strengthening our muscle, our discipline, our confidence, and so that also strengthens what we call our belief. The greater our belief in our skill set, of course, the more confidence, the more likely we are to follow our rules, which is very, very important. So let's just say here 100 a day we're going to start with. I'm going to trade two markets. What strategies could you use to achieve this? Now, by the way, another reason I mentioned trading two markets, if you say were to trade all of the day traders fast track strategies, so if you were to trade say the top 10 strategies that I have, you could probably only trade one market if you're an active day trader. Why? Because you get that many potential entries. But say if you're going to focus on, say, the T2s or the 34B, which are trend trades, well, in that particular case you might only get, say, one an hour. So you could realistically trade two markets at once, but just looking for the best of the best. So number one, if you're going to be looking for this, you want to look for any trend trade after a T20. Now we know a T20 is the equivalent of a 50 CCI zero line crossover, and the T20-1 is your first trade after a qualified T20. So the strategies, and these are all trend following strategies, I'd be recommending is the super scalper for T1, the slingshot, the floor trader pivot, the T7 with trend, not counter trend, the 21B, 34B, and the 89B, all as trend following strategies. The best of the best, I would be saying, are T2s and 34Bs, which we're going to look at in more detail. So getting back to this, start off by targeting 100 a day and build your confidence over a period of time. So how do we get there? 200, 500, 1,000. Now number one, per contract 200 is an extremely achievable goal. To get to $1,000 a day per single contract is quite difficult. Let's be realistic here. So you're going to be talking about trading multiple contracts once you start to get to that, but let's start off by talking about trading one contract to begin with. So let's just say we're going to scalp. As day traders, we're, say, looking at CL, maybe the NQ, maybe you're going to look at gold is a brilliant one. And actually, let's have a quick look at this. Let me bring up gold. Just this is by the way, we're looking here at a 144 tick chart here. So this is 144 on gold. Now this is from a couple of days ago, and I think I did a recording. I recorded these live or straight after on another video I did on trading indicators. But the point I wanted to make out here is that this is just 5 ticks. Ignore the 2, that's actually shorting 2 contracts here at each time. But the point is here, you had a 3489B, 34B, 34, 34, 34. You had multiple other entries, so you had a number of entry opportunities, 1 2 3 4, and that's actually your 5 trades in a row. We also have what we call the sweet spot. Look at your anchor chart. Your anchor chart is also supporting the trend at this stage as well. This trade here, by the way, for our members, you also know this is a T7. You've got a T7 bet the farm because it's with the trend, and that worked out to be, or could have been, a really nice trade. Now, just while we're on this, another thing you can be doing in increasing your profitability is, rather than just say going for 5 ticks, and remember at that chart a moment ago we were looking at 5 by 5 tick trades a day. And with, by the way, for those that are not familiar with gold, gold is $10 per tick. Like CL, it's $10 per tick. And so 5 trades a day by 5 ticks is $250. Take away your commissions, that's $225. Now, to really maximize your returns, what you can do, and you'll get great runners on CL every day, you'll get it on the NQ, you'll get it on gold as well. Use your trigger line to stay in the trade. Up here you would have easily got 10 ticks. Here you've romped 10 ticks, so there's $100 there. There's over $100 in that move there. So you can use the trigger line. As long as you're on the left of the trigger line, you stay in. That's if you're trading to the short side. So there's things that you can do to maximize. I'm not saying that 5 ticks should be the only target you go for, because you'll easily find on gold that you can pick up 6 to 10 ticks in most moves. But the point I wanted to get across is, by the way, that there was in it, and this is during the Globex session, the overnight session. That's in just under 2 hours. You've wrapped up your trading, you've netted well over your 200 a contract. So that's just sort of one idea there. Now, getting back to the PowerPoint, wherever I've put that, here it is here. Okay, so 5 trades a day, that's 225. So what you want to look at is, what are your highest probability trades to do that, particularly for a new trader. Now, as you build your confidence and also your skill set, you can introduce new trading strategies, or should say a number of other strategies in the mix. But become a specialist at first. We're going to talk more about that in a moment. But as we lead into this, what I'm about to quickly discuss will make a massive impact on you achieving your overall goals. And this really gets back to questions that I'm asked all the time about, how much is enough? How far can I really go as a trader? Well, first of all, traders, let's quickly, and I spoke about this in a video the other day, the truth about the multi-million-dollar trader. When you're trading your own funds, there is a massive difference to, say, if I'm trading a fund where it's not my money. If I'm trading for someone else, it's a total different scenario than if you're trading with your own cash. So this chart here will show you that if you're achieving 200 a day. So once again, let's just say here, and let me explain this and we'll come back to the point I was going to make. So let's just say here you start off with $5,000 capital. You achieve $200 a day. That's $1,000 a week, and at the end of the week you've got 6,000. Week 2, you've averaged 200 a day. We're now up to 7,000 a week. Once we double our account from 5,000 to 10,000, I'm then allowing myself to increase the amount of contracts I'm trading to 2. So if you like, I'm using the market's money. And this is one point that comes up regularly. I have a lot of members that join us where they've got $50, $100, $200,000, or maybe their retirement funds. When they join, they're ready to turn day trading into a serious profession. They've got the capital behind them. And as you hear me say, basically every single recording, you have to earn the right to go from 1 contract to 2. You have to double your money. You've got to earn your stripes. This is very, very important, because once you go from trading in sim to trading with real cash, psychologically it's a total different story. And getting back to the myth about the $1 million trader, there are very few traders that trade $1 million or more of their own capital at once. There's very few of them. 100,000, yes, trading 10 or 20 contracts, but once you get above that, it's totally different. But back to this table here for a moment. What I want you to do is to create a goal. You want to create a compelling future. You want to have what I call a mighty why, because when you've got a huge why in front of you, the how seems to appear. So this is why in my goal setting sessions you'll hear me talk about having your goals wall, having a massive mighty why. What are you going to do with the money? Because when you've got a big enough why, the how will come. You start to ask yourself intelligent questions because you're focused on success. So getting back to this, so after 5 weeks I'm now up to 2 contracts. Now by the end of what are we up here, by the end of 16 weeks here, I've taken my capital from $5,000 up to $62,000. I'm now trading 12 contracts and earning $10,000 a week. Now traders, realistically, as you develop or build your account, you also, instead of risking 2%, which is what you'd be doing, which is say a maximum of $100 here, over a period of time, you hear me talk regularly about dropping your risk factor down to only 0.5%. It makes it that much easier to pull the trigger when you're trading at only 0.5. But this table here, you get down to week 24 here at the bottom. You can see here you're trading 52 contracts and you're earning $43,000 a week, and this is based upon only earning $200 a day net and only going to an additional contract when you've doubled or when you've got an additional $5,000, being very conservative. Now if this turns you on, if this motivates you, great, right? Take a copy of this, create the table, or even better still, email me and I'll send it to you and put it on the wall. Have a goal, have a massive why. Now realistically, to be getting up to this sort of level, for most traders, you're certainly going to be wanting to lower your risk, because once you're starting to get up there, the losses can be big too. But the point here is, this is the potential, this is where you can go. That's based on just $200 a day. Now to get to $200 a day in the Day Traders Fast Track program, we've got 15 strategies. So we've got both trend following, we've got change of trend, and we've got counter trend strategies. Now hopefully you didn't hear that, I just had an alarm go off in the background. Become a specialist, focus on only a few strategies until you're consistently profitable. And this is another thing, members, that from a number of emails that I received this week, is impatience. If you're impatient, you're not going to have anything to achieve in the end anyway. You're going to blow your account. What's very important is that you take your time. You've got to treat this as a 90 to 180 day internship. Very important. Now this is from Mark Douglas out of his book, The Disciplined Trader, which you hear me talk about every recording. And let me just quote part of this, what he says here. What you want to do is become an expert at just one particular pattern that repeats itself with some degree of frequency. To become an expert, choose one simple trading system that identifies a pattern, preferably one that is mechanical instead of mathematical, so you'll be working with a visual representation of market behavior. Your objective is to understand completely every aspect of the system, all of the relationships between the components, and its potential to produce profitable trades. In the meantime, it's important to avoid all other possibilities and information. Now why is that? Why is it important? Because what it's doing, it's building your strength when it comes to discipline. It's building your self-trust. And of course, this book by Mark Douglas, The Disciplined Trader, is probably the #1 book in the world today, in my opinion, on mastering the art of day trading when it comes to head stuff. Remember, traders, we all suffer from a hardening of the attitudes, and we need to give ourselves a regular checkup from the neck up. Trading is 90% head stuff. This is very important. So the point here is, in achieving our $200 a day, we've got to remember simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. And so it's very important that we start off by mastering simple patterns that are geometric, that appear in the markets each and every single day. So what are those patterns? Well, #1, we want to simplify our trading, and to do that, and as the statement says here, trading's really easy: buy dips and sell the rallies. The trend is my friend. We want to stick with the trend. Now, I mentioned this in a video a couple of days ago, that if it's easy, why doesn't everybody do it? Well, it's because the easy things are also easy not to do. That is, we become impatient. Once again, we need to work harder on ourselves as traders personally than what we do on the setups. Getting back to this though, the trades I want you to focus on are the trend following strategies, the T1, the T2, the T7. Now that's of course a double top or double bottom with the trend, the T25, the 34Bs, the 80. These are the best of the best when it comes to trend following strategies. Now, as a quick reminder, when it comes to the 34B, for an example, we've seen back tested over hundreds of trades and over live trades 82%, 84% profitability. It's an extremely, when traded correctly, an extremely profitable and a high probability strategy. And that's where I mentioned trading the 34B. You could trade that on a number of markets at the same time, because you're sitting back waiting for the best of the best to appear. Now, as a reminder, members, to find the file on my Google Drive once you join, if you're not already a member, so for members, there are two files here. One is called the 34B, and this other file here, which is dated, the 34B file. There are two files there with the information. Is a whole lot of research, etc., on the 34B. So there are two folders. Now, why I remember traders, something else, another one of our members this week, and for our NinjaTrader 8 traders, he provided a template for NinjaTrader 8, where it's got the EMA is all set up, the zero lag. He's got a whole lot of other things that are set up there, which will be a great deal of help set up there. So it's in the folder NT8 indicators. Okay, so you'll see it there. He set up the EMAs, he set up the indicators we use, so it's in there. So NT8 indicators. So getting back to what I want to say here, one more thing. Okay, one more thing. As a reminder, I'm having a lot of members, and this has come up a number of times, is that when you've joined, of course, I've sent you a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet of all of the recordings. There's over 300, as you know. Now, when you click on the Excel spreadsheet, on the bottom of the spreadsheet, you'll see tabs. And if we quickly go here, let's bring this up, you'll see Master for Strategy, John Shealy, General, YouTube, Webinar, Live Trading, Day Trading, Q&A, CL, NQ, ES. So you'll see the subject headings are at the bottom of the tab. Excuse me, the tabs at the bottom, and that will direct you to where we've also grouped them. So where I'm mentioning these, and if you're a brand new member, it's very easy. Just go to the tabs there and you'll see everything is named. Okay, so the T1s are T2s. Getting off track a little bit. So another point here is that under the testing F of a 34B, we've tested it on CL, ES, NQ. The results are outstanding. This one here, 84% over 288 trades. This is just from a member the other day. His spreadsheet here, trading the mainly the 34B. This day on two contracts, he cashed out with $670 on his real account, trading two contracts. Once again, mainly the 34B, and he specializes in the 34B. Absolutely no counter trend trading whatsoever. So traders, that's what I recommend, is that and just getting back to this chart here, you by achieving $200 a day, you can achieve, once again, incredible goals, financial goals there. Now, how long will it take you to get to 200? Well, as I say to all traders, you want to master every setup, at least 100 trades on the simulator before you go live. Impatience is the greatest killer in this business. People invest in my program and they want to be in making a fortune within 1 week. Traders, treat it as a 90 to 180 day internship. Remember, impatience is what's going to kill you. you want to be patient. You want to master the setups. It'll develop that discipline of, sorry, that muscle called discipline, which is absolutely critical. But this is the potential. Now, one other thing I do want to say on the $200, to achieve 200 a day, you need to be averaging 300 a day. Why? Because you are going to have down days, you are going to have lost days. So to get to 300 a day, if you're trading two markets, that's 150 out of each market. And if we just go back to gold here for a moment, as you can see here, you would have easily romped it in. Now you can see here, you could have been now as an example here, let's just have a look. So this is during the Globex session, so 144 on gold, and we're going to talk more about this on which markets to trade in section 2. You've got a lot of trading opportunities. What you also want to look at perhaps is trading the Globex session. If we're talking Globex here just for a moment, the 89 tick on CL. Okay, so this is oil. Another great market you could be trading during this time of day during the Globex session is the euro dollar futures contract. There's some great opportunities there. So you want to be aiming for 300 a day, but once again start off with 100 and build that muscle over a period of time. But anyway, I am digressing a little bit once again. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause this video here, and I'll then go and record part 2 and send that out as well. And just one more thing before I sign off, and I really should have mentioned this once again as a quick reminder, please subscribe to my channel. Very important, so you keep updated, because if you're not a member, you're not going to be getting this by email, of course. Thank you, traders. See you on the next video.